All right, welcome back, guys. Now in this one we are going to build the playlist functionality into the mp3 music player. Okay, so basically first off, let's add some event listeners. Okay, so I'll come here, and there are particularly two event listeners we're going to add. So one is going to be on the hamburger and one is going to be on the close icon, okay, initially. So let me come here, and so here I'll say hamburger, hamburger dot add event listener, and I'm going to listen for a click, and the name of the function I'm going to call will be show playlist. Okay, so here I'll say show playlists. Okay, then I would duplicate this downwards, and this event listener is going to be for the close icon, and it's going to simply hide the playlist. So I'll just say hide playlist. Okay, so those are the two main things we're going to use now. So let me just scroll down, and I'm going to add a we've written so much JavaScript in this project, so I'm going to add a comment here. I'll say show playlist. Okay, so let's create the function that will show playlists, and here, right, what we want to do is, there is a music playlist that we created. Okay, so that means I need to actually scroll up and show you. So this music playlist, right, is what is targeting the music playlists div. Okay, there's another variable we need to create actually. Okay, I think we should just create it now. So you see, let me go to my index.html. Scroll down. So we've created something to target this music playlists, right? We've created another variable to target this playlist, right? This playlist div, I want us to also target it. Okay, I'm not sure we've targeted it before. Okay, we didn't target it, so we're going to create one more variable to target the playlist div, and it's just be after this one so that it's systematic. So let me just duplicate this one downwards like this, and I'm going to call it pdiv. Okay, P stands for playlist, okay, for short. So I'll just say pdiv, which stands for playlist div. Okay, then of course the name of the variable is playlist hyphen div. Okay, so let's save that, and let me just be sure that that's the name of the variable. So playlist hyphen div, yeah, that's the name. Okay, all right, so having looked at the three variables we need: music playlist, pdiv, and playlist, let's go down and continue. Okay, so the first one we want to do is we are creating the function to show the playlist. So basically I'll just say music playlist dot style dot, and then I'll say transform equals. So here, remember that we did let me go to the styles. Remember that for the music playlist, which I need to actually find, yeah, for the music playlist we did a transform, and we said that we want to translate it on the x-axis to -100%. So I can actually copy this style, come here and paste it in, but this time I'll set it to 0, which is the original position on the page. So if I save this and I come here, okay, I've not created the second function, so it will throw an error. So maybe I should actually just create the two functions. So this one is going to say, this one is going to say hide playlist. Okay, and I'm going to change this to hide. Okay, so here is going to actually be -100, so it's going to take it back out of the page. So if I save this guy here, I come here and I click on this icon here, watch what happens. It slides it out. If I click on the X icon, it slides out. Okay, so what this means is that we have our slide playlist functionality active. Okay, so now that we have the slider active. Let's come here and let's create a function that will display the tracks we have on our music array. Okay, this track list array, all of these tracks here, we want them to be displayed on this playlist. Okay, so here we're going to come down here and I'm going to create a very first, let me say I'll say display tracks in playlists. Okay, so I'll come down here and I'm going to create a variable. So I'll say let's counter, and I'll set it to be equal to 1. Okay, great. So I'll come down and then I'll create the function. So the function, the function is going to, the name of the function will be display tracks. Okay, display tracks plural. Okay, so now what we are going to do in this display tracks function is that we are going to loop through this track list array. Okay, and after we loop through it, we are going to display the component or the content on the page. Okay, so I'll come here and I'll create my for loop like this, and I'll say let I be equal to 0. Okay, I'll say I is less than track list dot length. I'll close that and I'll then say I plus plus. Okay, so let's come inside of the what's it called, the for loop. Okay. All right, so what we can do here is that I'm thinking of something, right? I'm going to create a variable. I'll say let's, or you know what, I'll just log something to the console. I'll just do console.log, and here I will say track lists, and then I'll get the item, and then I'll say dot name. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to log the names of the track to the console. Okay, but of course I don't expect that this will take effect except I come here and call this display track function outside. Okay, that's the only way this code here can take effect. So if I save this now and I come here to my page, right, and I do Ctrl+Shift+I just to see the console.log, you see here that we now have all the names of the tracks we have. So it will look through and get all the names out and is displaying it in the console for us. So we've made some progress. We've been able to at least log the names of the tracks on our track list array into the console. Okay, so let me minimize that back. Okay, great. So now permit me to, okay, I can actually just leave that there, you know, for, so now I'll create a variable. I'll call that variable div. Okay, and this div will be equal to document dot, let's create an element. Okay, and the name of this element, we want to create a div. Okay, so that's why I just called it a div. Okay, so document dot create div. Now this div we created, we are going to attach a class to it. So div dot class list dot add, and what class do we want to add to this div? Well, let's go back to our index.html and we're going to add this playlist class to the div. Okay, so basically I'll just grab this playlist, and since I'm going to be updating my playlist div from JavaScript, I can actually comment out this guy here. So I'll comment it out because it's not what I want to use to display my songs. So my songs will be displayed from JavaScript. So I'll come here and I'll add the playlist class to this new div I created. Okay, all right, I'll close that now. Now how I'll then define the component of the div I just created. So here I'll say div dot inner HTML, and I'll set it to be equal to, let's use template literals here. So I'll bring that down and I would close. Okay, so here I can just go to my index.html and grab the component of this playlist div, the playlist div. So I'll just copy this component, which is the span and the paragraph. I'll copy it, I'll come back to my JavaScript file and paste it in. Okay, I hope I'm not too fast really, but like you can slow down the speed of the video, you can watch the video again. Okay, so now that okay, I think maybe I should indent this guy just so that, okay, great. So now that we've been able to get the content of the playlist div from index.html, let's add content from JavaScript. Okay, so in the span, which is supposed to represent the song index, right, I'm going to then bring in this counter here. So this counter variable we created here that we said is equal to 1. So I'll come here, right, and for every song I want to update the counter by 1. So here I will say counter, so no, we need to add the $ and the curly braces. So here I'll say counter plus plus. Okay, so the first song is going to be 1, the next one is going to be 2. So every time it loops through this track list array, it's going to increase the counter by 1. That's what this plus plus actually means. Okay, so now for this one, which is the song title here, so this is song 1. Let me just get rid of this song 1, right? I'm going to then call this track list.name. Okay, but it needs to be $ and curly braces to be inside there. So I'll just, where's the console.log I did here? So I'll just grab this guy here and I'll paste it in. Okay, so now that we've successfully created the component or the content of the new div elements we created, I'm going to come here and I will then say pdiv. Now what is this pdiv? The playlist div is the variable we created up top, so the one we just created not long ago that we said pdiv is equals to query selector playlist div. So if you come to index.html, you see that we have this playlist div class. Yeah, that's what we're referring to. So let me come back here and scroll down. So here I would say pdiv dot append child. Okay, and then I would append the div I just created. Okay, all right, so I hope it's clear from this point. Okay, so what I can do is I can save this now and let's see if it will display on the page. So let me bring this up, and as you can see, we now have the at least the names of the songs we have on our track list array. Okay, although if you click it now, nothing will happen because we've not set that functionality yet. Okay, but we still have some time, so we can set that functionality right away. So after this for loop I just created here, inside this function to display track, I will call another function that will play from the playlist. Okay, so I'll say play from playlist. Okay, so I didn't want to say play song from playlist, I didn't want it to be extra long. Okay, so now let me come down here, I'll add a comment and I'll say this comment will be play song from playlists, or I should just say from the playlist so that it's grammatically correct. Okay, so now let's come and create that function. So I'll say function play from playlists. So basically what this function wants to do is that you see this playlist that is here now, when you click on any of it, we want to play that song. That's basically what we want to do here. Okay, so this playlist that is here is inside this container that is playlist div, which we put in a variable pdiv, right? So this pdiv guy here. So what we are going to do is that we are going to add an event listener on the pdiv. So I'll say pdiv dot add event listener. So I'm adding an event listener on the pdiv, and I'm listening for a click. Okay, let me add a comma there, and I'm going to access it with an arrow function, but I'll give it an e parameter and access it with an arrow function. Okay, so here we're going to do event delegation, right? Although we are putting this event listener on the pdiv, we're going to do event delegation such that we can select this particular element, and the function we put inside this event listener is only going to be fired if this element is clicked. So I will say if, okay, let me open this up. So I'll say if event dot target dot class list, sorry, dot class list dot contains, and what class am I particularly looking for? Well, if you look at it here, you see that it has a class of single song, right? If you click on this guy here that contains the name, this track list i.name, it has a class of single song. So if we come here, this is the class we're interested in. So if we say that if the event.classList contains single song, then we want to fire off what is inside this block. I hope it's clear. Okay, so what exactly do we want to fire off? Well, I'm just going to alert something. So let me alert the event.target.innerHTML. Okay, so I'll save that and I'll come here. Let me click on this new beginning. So you see, I get a new beginning. If I click on OK, it goes out. Let me click on Hey, so I get Hey. Little idea, I get little idea. Sunny, I get sunny. Amazing, right? Good. Now we're going to create another variable, right, that we get the index. So because now we're able to get the name of the song, we're able to alert the name of the song, right? But that's not where we want to stop. So here, let me actually just come down here. I think I can comment this out. I don't even need it if I can get rid of it, but let me just leave it for you so that just in case. Okay, so here inside this if statement, I'm going to say const, and I'll say index num. I'm actually thinking of something, right? Okay, I think index num is fine actually. So I'll say index num. Now this index num, what I want to use this to do is I want to use it to get the index, right, for this from this array. Okay, so for example, this first one now has an index of 0. This second one has an index of 1, right? So I'll come here, I'll say index num is equal to, then I'll say track list dot, and then I'll use this array method. I'll say find index. Okay, this array method is going to take in 2 parameters. So the first is going to be item. I'll add a comma, and the second is going to be index. Okay, so I would open it up with an arrow function like this. Okay, so the stuff is getting complex, I know. And basically inside this one, I'm just going to say, I'll add an if statement here. I know it's getting complex. Now I'll say that if the item dot name, okay, so this item is actually representing a single item inside this track list, right, which is a single, when I say a single item, it's actually a single object. This whole object is actually an item inside this track list. Okay, so I'm saying that if the item dot name, in other words, inside this item, if we get the name property, right, and if that name property is equal to event dot target dot inner HTML. Remember we alerted the inner HTML here. So we are saying that if the item dot name is equal to that inner HTML, what do we want to do? So basically here I'm just going to return true. So I don't want to do anything specific, I'll just return true. But in doing this find index method, I'm also getting access to the index, okay, of the array. Okay, great. So now permit me to close this here and come out here. Now I can confidently load track. Okay, because this load track that we are calling here now, remember, let me just go up and show you something here. Up top here, where we called the load track function, it took an argument. The argument was index track, right, which we initially set to 0. But we cannot use index track inside of this function here. It's going to throw an error, right? I can actually try it here for you and you'll see the error. So here I'm just going to say, in fact, there's no need to actually try it because there's no way for you to update the index track. So but because we've created this index num and that is going to do a find index on this track list, right, we can confidently come here and pass in the index num here, and that's going to be absolutely fine. So next we'll then call the play song function. Okay, so let me save that and let's test it out. Okay, so I'm going to come here, let's open this up and let's try new beginning. So you see new beginning plays. Let's try another one. Hey, plays also. Now there's one more thing we need to do, right? When you click on that song, we also want to hide the playlist. So I'll come here and I'll call the hide playlist function, and let's close this up and save. Okay, so let's come here. So new beginning, but it hides the playlist. Let's try the last one. Okay, so but I just want to be very sure that there's no error in my console, so I'll do Ctrl+Shift+I to go to my console, and let me play something now. Okay, so there's no error in the console. So basically that's it for the last functionality, which is you know, inserting and making active the playlist. Okay, so we've spent a lot of time on this last one. Thank you so much for watching this section. I'll see you in the next project. All right, bye. Congratulations on completing the MP3 project with JavaScript. If you like to build more projects, you should definitely check out my 100 days of JavaScript course, which I have. It's a course where we build projects every day for 100 days, and by the end of that course, in fact before the end of the course, your JavaScript skills will be definitely sharpened. You're going to become a better JavaScript developer. So you should definitely check the description of this video where I leave discount links for all my courses. Thank you so much and see you in another video.